To our daily webinar, How to Present Your Practice website. We will offer you tips and tricks to build your own website. Our today's lecturer are really professionals in this kind of marketing. It's Joachim Osswald and Sebastian Booch, both work for KaVo, and they would like to share their knowledge today with you. Before we start, some organizational information. The webinar runs via voice over IP, so you can see the presentation of the lecturer and hear his voice via your PC's loudspeakers. Please check beforehand if they are switched on. During the presentation, you are welcome to ask questions via the chat at the lower right part of the screen. The question will be collected and answered at the end of the webinar. The webinar will be recorded and can be viewed within the next days on our website, www.kavo.com/webinar. Some words about our lecturers of today. We have got Joachim Osswald, or Joe, how we call him here. He studied informatics at KaVo Dental and Ravensburg University of Corporate Education from 1993 to 1996. Then he was employed at KaVo IT department for 2 years from 1996 to 1998. Then he switched to KaVo marketing department from 1999 to 2003. And since that time, since 2003, he's working for the online marketing. He's working as an online marketing specialist. And since 2009, he's the head of the online marketing team here at KaVo. Our second presenter is Sebastian Booch. He's a little bit younger. He he studied from 2009 to 2012 business economics with Bachelor of Arts. Then he was working as he was a working student at KaVo Dental, and since 2012 he became an online marketing specialist at KaVo. Additionally, he is working as a lecturer at the Biberach University of Applied Sciences. So enjoy this webinar, and hopefully we will offer you a lot of tips and tricks you can put in your own website. Thank you.
So, hello everybody, this is Sebastian speaking. Welcome to our today's webinar. We are proud to give this webinar to you, and we're looking forward to have some interesting questions afterwards. So we will split this presentation, and I will introduce you into the general dentist website development over the last decade. So what's it like online for dentists right now? Then afterwards, Joe will introduce you to what are your patients searching for and how they will find you. Afterwards, it's my turn again with what you should consider on your site. And then at the end, we will give you some further improvements or further hints on what you could do with your website. So first of all, dentist websites over the last decade. As you can see on the chart, on the right side, over the last 8 years, the search volume has doubled. So this is for the term dentist, which has increased by 100% from 2005 to 2013. And it's predicted that the search volume will continue to increase, and by the end of this year will be 220% higher than the value of 2006. And there's also a study among patients from Jamida, which says that 70% of all patients are searching online for new doctors. And important here, most of the time the people don't only search for dentist, but accompany the search term dentist with their town or region where they live in. So for example, they search for dentist London or dentist Berlin. Then dentist websites. So we did a little test. We searched Google for dentist Biberach. As you might know, Biberach is the town where the KaVo headquarters is located. And then we saw that 50% of all dentists already have a practice website, which is quite good. And we came to the conclusion after looking at most of the sites that there are a lot of nice sites with smaller mistakes and imperfections. So there are a few easy tweaks you can do to improve the quality of your website overall. And the most common mistakes we saw were that often those websites aren't finished, or important sections of the websites are missing and the site was incomplete, so we saw a lot of under construction signs or missing text or blind text. Then the selection of the images was rather poor, so there were bad quality images, there were under construction signs as images, and sometimes also there were watermarks on the images left. Some of the pages were created with Flash technology, which means that they won't display on smartphones or tablet computers. So if you have an iPad or an iPhone, you can't access those sites at all. And on many sites, we had to look quite a few minutes to find the visiting hours or the contact details of the dentist, which is, as we can see later, a big mistake. And of course, there were a lot of spelling mistakes or grammatical errors. Okay, and then Joe continues with the search.
Yes, hello everybody. This is Joe. So yeah, what are your patients searching for? I think we have to define two target groups. So there are existing patients and new patients. And existing patients, they are looking for visiting hours or telephone number, or they were only once in your practice and had made a prophylaxis treatment, but now they would like to inform more about further treatments like aesthetics, bleaching, and so on. And the new patients, they would like to know more about you, your team, how looks the practice, are you recommended online, and which treatments you are offering your practice. So this is more interesting for the new patients. And a very important thing is what many patients draw conclusions from the website state to the state of the practice. So it's very important that your website looks very nice and clear and shows up all the necessary information for new patients. And then many patients say, okay, the website looks nice, then I think I will go to this doctor. An example, so a mother in Berlin, she is looking for a new dentist or for a doctor for her child. So she goes to Google and types in dentist Berlin child. So if you comes up with your website on the first 3 positions, you have really good chance that she will click on it, and then she will inform on your website about your treatment, about you, and so on. And so the possibility is very high when she will go to your practice. So what's important for Google, and yes, how can you reach the top positionings on Google? There's a secret algorithm with around about more than 200 parameters. So we have defined 4 pillars, and the first pillar is the on-site optimization. That means, first of all, you have to define the keywords and to put these keywords very often on your website. This is very important, and you can do it yourself, and it's very easy and quick to do it. Then the second pillar is to do offsite optimization. It means yes, you can collect backlinks from other websites to your website. Technical adjustments are also very important. For example, the code must be very easy and clear, so Google can read it, and then he can add this code to his index. It's also very important to have speaking URLs. And you should keep your website very in a current state. So if you have news For example, if you have a new treatment method in your praxis, you can put it on the website, something like that. So all this helps you, yes, to get a very good ranking position on Google. On the screenshot, you can see that the green area, this is the search engine optimization, we call it. So this is free of charge, and the red area, you can make the advertisements. And yes, if you make it, for example, and a patient click on the link, he comes to your website, but then you have to pay for a click. And the click costs around about 10 euros and until 2 or 3 euros per click. So it's up to you. Yes, if you do SEM or SEO, but SEO it's very easy and it's free of charge. So what can you also do for search engine optimization? There are meta and title tags, and these both tags are really important, because you can see here, this is the title tag, and the title tag, it will appear in the results of the Google pages. And yes, if it is described very clearly and easy to read for the user, he will click on this page or on this link, and then he comes to your website. In the second part here, this is the meta description, and it should describe the content of your practice, of your website, and of you. And this also helps you to bring new visitors to your website. So yes, how can you find the correct keywords? The first thing is to ask yourself, what would you search for? Which keywords would you take if you were a patient? Then you can ask colleagues, assistants, and patients for ideas. You can visit our dentist websites and take a look to it, to the headlines, to the navigation structure, to the meta tags, and so on. And then you can choose these keywords and optimize your own page. There are also special tools. The most favorite and the best one is Google AdWords keyword tool. You need a Google account, but it's free of charge, and it delivers you really good keyword and good and new keyword ideas. Okay, then if you have collected the keywords, then you should put these keywords on your website. You can put the keywords in headlines and in sublines. In the meta tags, it's very important to have it in the meta tags, in the title tags, and in the description tags. Also very important, you can see it here in green color, is the internal linking. So Google can recognize these links, and then Google goes into your subpages and collect all of your pages and takes it into the Google index. The URL, it's the domain of your website, is also very necessary. And please use image, and if you have videos, for example, please use their speaking file names. Then the required keywords, they should appear also in the content, in the text. And you can measure the keyword density with different tools. A very good tool is SEO Quake. It's for the Firefox. And the keyword density, it should between 1.7 and 2.5%. Because if you often use the keywords, then Google recognizes that it could be SEO spam, and then it could be then you can get a penalty from Google. So yes, the keyword should not too often appear on your website. Okay, coming back to the example at the start, the dentist Berlin child. So please use the keywords dentist, Berlins, and Charles often on your website, but not too often. So it should appear between 1.7 and 2.5 in your website. Then Google finds these words and yes, displays it when somebody is searching for them. And the important keyword is the better you should place it on your site. And we can see it on the following page in the screenshot here. These three keywords, Zahnarzt, it's the German word for dentist, then your name and the location, in this case it is Biberach. So these are the most important three keywords in this case, and all these three keywords are shown in the headline here. At the footer, it's very great if you put important information on it. So this information is be shown on every page of your website, because it could be that the visitor comes from Google and he comes directly to a sub page. And if you have no information about your treatments or your contact data, then you have to look for it. And if you have it on every page, everybody will find the information very quick. Yes, the contact will be very shortened then. If you use images and videos, so it's very necessary and very important for Google that the file names are speaking. So you can see here a very good example, because here the keyword dentist is contained, the name and the location. So this is a point to backlinking. It means these are links from other websites to your websites, and the often backlinks you will get, yes, the better the ranking you will get. And you can very easy and quick collect backlinks, for example, from your dental laboratory partner. So if you request him or her to make a backlink or to make a link from his page to your page, you have very easy a backlink. And also you can set a link from your website to the orthodontist website. And then, so this is a very easy way, yes, to set up backlinks and to get backlinks. So yes, this was the part for yes how to find new patients and search engine optimization. And now, yes, I will give you back here to Sebastian to show you what should also more happen on your website.
Okay, so the third part is what you should consider on your site. So let's take a look. The first thing you should consider, whether you have an existing site or you want to have a new website, is choose the right domain. So maybe you already have a domain, but you can also get a second one, or in case you don't have a website yet, you get your first domain. And keep in mind that it's good for Google to increase your ranking if you have the relevant keywords already in your domain. So in our example, it would be a good idea to get the domain www.dentist-berlin.com, in case it's not taken, of course, and not the domain like www.practice.websites.aol.com, because it's not only hard to remember for your visitors, it's also hard to read for the Google search bot. Then after you get your domain, make sure you don't use cryptic URLs. So you may have noticed this on some news sites or other websites, that they sometimes have strange numbers and words after the slash. So in this case, in this example, it's /page.php ? ID and so on. And you should avoid that because it's not only hard for me to read or for any other human, it's also hard to read for the search machine. A better example to have would be a so-called clean URL or speaking URL, like dentist-berlin.com/treatment/prophylaxis. Then going on, also the navigation on your site should be clean and transparent. It's important to have a clear website and an easy navigation structure, so you don't have to search very long for the relevant information, and the better your navigation is, the faster the information will be found. In this case, there is a sentence, less is more, which is true in this case. So look out if you have too many navigation points in your structure on your site. The visitor will have trouble finding the information he searches for. And regarding the design, it's useful to use a timeless design, which is done by minimal and bright elements on your site. So don't use dark colors. This is very, it's not so nice for the visitor. Placing your content the right way. To come back to this, as we have said in the beginning, the most often searched contents are contact details and the practice address, the visiting hours, and the available treatments in your practice. So it's important to keep these contents visible nearly all the time, and especially on the front page, because if I want to visit my dentist and I go to his website, I'm looking forward to have the visiting hours at first sight. So in this case, in our example, it's in the middle here on the front page and on every other page. So there are a few key points which have to be on your site. The first one would be an introduction to you and your team and your practice, of course. So this can be a picture like on the right side, and then maybe your vita, maybe even detailed information about your assistants and other dentists in your practice. Then you should, of course, include the contact details, the full address, and an email address on your website. The directions, maybe including also a Google Map snippet, so that there's a little card displayed or a little map. And also what's nice to have is a contact form and, of course, the visiting hours, so that they can directly write you an email on your website. Then going on, of course, the treatments and therapies available. So if you offer some special treatments, you should, of course, present them on your website. And if possible, a news section. So maybe you have some events in your practice from time to time. It's a good idea to present them on your website. If you don't want to regularly update your website, then drop this news section, because it's not so good if you have a news section and the last news is from 2012, for example. And of course, it's also good to have a colophone with the legal address and your name. You don't have to have that in every country. Depending on the law, sometimes you must have it on your website. Then there are a few other points which are nice to have. So, for example, regarding treatments, you can include before and after pictures. You can offer brochures and information material for patients on your website or as downloads. You can greet the visitors with a personal note. You can, of course, search for applicants with job offers. So if you're searching for new assistants, why don't offer these jobs online? And maybe if you have a really big patient number, then you can also offer them a newsletter, so that you from time to time send them a mail with what's new in your practice and which new treatments you offer and so on. And what's not so easy to implement, but also I think it's the future, an online appointment form where the visitor can make an appointment in your practice online without having to call in or having to send in a mail. He can see when there's a date available and then save the spot to come for his treatment. Regarding the display, you should take care that you have an emotional, clear, pleasant, fresh and timeless display. That's achieved by bright colors, by smiling faces, good pictures. The pictures should have a consistent appearance. So for example, on a team picture, you should watch out that all have the same colored clothes or that you all wear your uniform. And it's good to know that, or it's generally a good idea to choose the images wisely. So if you don't have good pictures from your practice or from your team, then get a photographer to make some photos. And of course, avoid spelling mistakes. They're easy to avoid and better proofread 2 times than publish a site with spelling mistakes on it. Coming back, there are also some technical aspects you should consider. So the first thing is, of course, a fast page speed. It's no fun for the visitor to wait many seconds until the site is finally displayed completely. You should avoid incomplete contents. So if you have a section on your site and the visitor clicks on it and the only text then is more to come here or to be continued, better take off the site completely. Then, as we said, with the flash technology, it's modern today to have a mobile view for smartphones and tablet computers, like in our example on the right side. So the site then sizes down to display correctly on a mobile device. And of course, it's nearly necessary to have a good accessibility, which means that also disabled people who don't see that good can access your site and can also increase the text size or the font size, and pictures on your site are tagged with the alt tag, so they can get read by hearing or seeing devices. Then, after your site is online, it's a good idea to measure your website success. This can be easily implemented with Google Analytics, which is a free software from Google. You can easily implement on your website. And with Google Analytics, you can measure visitors and other indicators like the bounce rate, which means how many people come to your website and then drop off within a few seconds, and how many new visitors are there or how many reoccurring visitors are there. And it's a good idea to implement it because it's easy and you can from time to time take a look at your statistics. Then another thing you can have for free, which improves the quality of your site, you can add your practice to Google Maps. This also requires a free Google account, and then you can go to this link and add your practice address, and you will then be automatically added to the Google Maps site. This also has the nice side effect that if there aren't so many dentists in your area, you will also get displayed with these Maps search results on the first page of Google. And of course, you can then implement this map snippet into your website. Good. Then, as I mentioned before, there are legal aspects, and depending on your specific national laws, sometimes you need to include a colophon or a legal notice on your website, and it's always a good choice to include a colophon with full name and address of your dental practice, no matter what the national law says. So even if you are not required to do this, I would suggest you do it. And if you have now enough ideas, or if you're confident enough now to create a new website, whether you have one or you will get a new one now, there are 2 different options on how to approach that. One option is to use a content management system, which is something like a complete software you install and then you can use it. A content management system is good for creating dynamic sites which are constantly changing. So, for example, CNN.com or other news sites all are based on a content management system. There are quite a few free ones. The most known are WordPress, Joomla, Drupal, and KaVo. The problem with content management systems is that they have a rather difficult installation, but their default functionality includes contact forms, blog systems, galleries, and so on, and they can be easily improved with modules and add-ons. On the other hand, we have website construction kits. Those are easy to use software tools to create own sites. The sites are mostly static, so you have to update them manually, and they usually come with a usage fee, so you have to pay a monthly or yearly subscription price. And the biggest problem with website construction kits is that they tend to be used by a large amount of people, and so your website may look like quite a few other websites. Okay, I will give back to Joe.
Okay, these are further tips for you. Perhaps if you know, we have KaVo offers diagnosis system. It's called DiagnoCam, and we have prepared some content for your website. It's text and images, and you can copy this content from our site to your website, and you can overtake it one-to-one if you want, and of course you can fit it to your website. You can see here the URL to it, and afterwards we send it to you, the presentation, and then you will get all the links here in the presentation. So you can you can take the content from there. It's also available for KaVo DiagnoDent, and in a few days we will offer it for prophylaxis. What we are prepared as well is DiagnoCam patient information, so you can put it also on your website, or or you can set this link on your website to our website if you would like to do it. So yes, it's a very nice style to present that you are a very modern and innovative dentist. These are checklists for SEO and in general for online marketing. You can give it to your webmaster, or you can take a deeper look into it to read all the things that you heard in this webinar, and a little bit more, so that you not forget to do things.
In case you wonder, you will get the presentation afterwards, so you can click on all of those links.
Yes. So thank you very much for the attention. And if you have questions, please use the pop-up on the website, and and ask your questions.
Okay, thank you again for your participation. I think we have seen a very interesting presentation from these two really professionals for online marketing, and I think you can have a lot of value out of this presentation. Hopefully you can put this also into practice. For this we will have a special offer. We will have a check of your website where you can send your website to the web address to marketing@kavo.com, and we will check it. It's for free until the 10th of February. So use that if you want to have a check, if you want to have some tips and tricks to get a better, to make improvements in terms of just how you appear at the web. I'm just looking for the questions now. We got one in there. This is the first question is about Google. The question is it sufficient to optimize the website for Google only?
Yes, the market share of Google is 90%. So yes, it's really good and to optimize for Google then. In Russia, there's Yandex very successful. The algorithm is not one-to-one the same, but many parameters and criteria are the same. But worldwide, I would like to say, if you optimize for Google, then you also optimize for the other search engines.
The next question goes a little bit in the same direction. Which additional online tools can be used to advertise my website?
Yes, there are more tools. For example, you can set up your own email newsletter, and then you can send it out monthly or in a regular way to your patients or to the subscribers, and then you can offer modern and innovative treatment methods. You can, yes, if you have a new assistance or something like that, then you can put it also in the newsletter. So this is one tool. Another tool is to go to Google AdWords. This is a pay-per-click program, and there you can pay for the clicks, and then you get, via these clicks, you will get more new visitors. You can also go to a regional website and add their banners or e-blasts or something like that. Mm-hmm. And okay, of course, there's social media. So if you have an own Facebook page, you can put there more information, and so you can also promote your own website.
Mm-hmm. Now the next questions are, I think it's the one from one participant about Facebook presentation. Is it valuable to create your own Facebook presentation, and what can be the issues? And what can be what do we have to do with negative postings?
Okay, yes, it's a very good question. I think because it's a little bit dangerous partly. Because it could be that you really get negative postings there. Yes, and also you must have the time, to keep your Facebook fan page, in a current state, and to make their regular postings on it. So if you have the time, and if